Hey everyone, welcome back to the Brandon Breeze GunTube channel. Have you been wondering what the SR6 Instinct from AcuVista looks like? What do you get in this package, right? This is going to be the video for you. I'm also going to be doing size comparison. So let's get into the unboxing, right? So let's check this thing out. This is obviously heavily inspired by the Trijicon SRO. I think it has a little bit taller deck height back here. Not much, but a little bit. It looks pretty nice, at least from just a looks perspective. They say it's made out of aluminum. I'm not sure what type of aluminum. And to be completely transparent, AcuVista sent me this optic for the purposes of a review. They didn't pay me for anything. They just said, hey, we want to send you one of these. We like how you do your videos. We'd appreciate it. So that is for transparency purposes for everybody that views. Let's check out and see what you get in the box. So this is kind of cool that you get a mount for Picatinny, right? Straight out of the box. So if you wanted to put it on a longer pew, then that would be good because you can do it straight out of the box. You get your instruction manual, cleaning cloth, kind of obligatory, right? Little desiccant pack. Let me make sure there's nothing else under here. Nothing in the lid. And then you get your box, right? So it looks like you get an extra battery. You get all the tools that you need to install it. There is a dovetail mount. That's kind of cool. So if you don't have an optics cut on your pew, say it looks like it fits probably like a Glock and probably some other things. Looks like it's got a couple little adapter pins. So that's kind of nice because usually you have to pay extra for that. So if you don't have an optic cut, no worries for this optic because they got you covered. You could put it in a dovetail mount, which I don't recommend, but you know, to each their own. And it looks like you get a small hardware store worth of screws. You get all of the little wrenches and things that you need, so that's pretty cool. Hey everyone, I've noticed that there's probably about 80+% of you guys out there that watch my videos regularly that are not subscribed. So if you like this type of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe now, and I'll get you a lot more content upcoming. Thank you guys. All right, welcome back. Now we're gonna move on to the size comparison portion. So you can see here, this is the Osight C, which is one of my favorite optics currently, just because it has a really nice size window. It's not too big, not too small, fits on the RMR footprint, etc. Let's take a look here. Looks like they're very similar in height. Obviously, this is not any sort of scientific comparison. I just want to give you guys at least somewhat of an idea of what it looks like window size for the comparisons on some of these optics that'll be in a similar size and or category. All right, next up we've got the Osight X, which is obviously a very tall windowed optic. It's not super wide compared to some, but you can see obviously the X is quite a bit taller, so you get a nice tall window there. Let's take a look at it from the rear perspective, and I'm trying to line these up on the bottom to try to make it fair. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll at least give you somewhat of an idea. All right, next up we've got the OG from Trijicon, the RMR. Fantastic optic, obviously bomb-proof, but the window's kind of on the small side. And obviously, since this is an SRO type of optic, or heavily inspired by, you already know that you're going to get a lot more glass from this particular optic. All right, next up, we've got the HoloSun EPS, and this is the full-size one, but still mounts on the RMSC footprint. You know, obviously it's a little bit on the smaller side for a full-sized optic, but it's still a pretty good option out there. I really like the low deck height of it. All right, next up we've got the HoloSun 507 Comp. We already kind of know how this one is going to go. The 507 Comp is a massive, massive optic, and I know they just got the Pro Comp, which is even more massive, which is bananas, right? Because the 507 Comp was already a very, very large optic, as you see here. All right, and last but not least, you're gonna see the Osight XR versus the AcuVista SR6 Instinct, right? So obviously we know this one is probably heavily inspired by the SRO as well, maybe a little bit of the HD RMR or RMR HD, but you know, you get a very good value there. That's in another video that I'm gonna be reviewing that. Anyway, that's all I got for you for the size comparisons. If you like my content, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.